Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today we will be looking at Introduction to Microsoft Excel. If you've been wondering what Microsoft Excel is, today I will give you the answer. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet package that allows you to make calculations, do data analysis, and create charts. That means with your knowledge of Microsoft Excel, many calculations can be easily done, many data analysis can be easily done, and charts can be easily created with the use of Microsoft Excel. So how do you open Microsoft Excel? Just at the bottom left corner of your Windows, you see search there, just type Excel. Once you type Excel, you will see it pop open, click on it, and it will take you to Microsoft Excel. Now, this environment here is called spreadsheet. So Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet package. So how do you save your work? Because the first thing you're going to do when you start working on your Microsoft Excel document is to save. So go to your File menu here and click Save. A dialog box will open for you to choose the location where you want your file to be stored or saved. Click My Documents. I'm clicking my document for the purpose of this class. So I'll choose Practice 1. Now, the default method or the default type is always Excel workbook. But if you are sending your work to somebody else, it is better to save it in a mode that is compatible with every other Excel version. If you look here, we have Excel 97 to 2003 workbook. Earlier version or previous version, of Microsoft Excel do not have the same file extension as the later versions. The previous version of Microsoft Excel file extension is always XLS. But from 2007 to date, the file extension for Microsoft Excel is XLSX. So you can see that if you have made your work or work on your workbook and saved it in the recent version, and you are sending it to somebody who is using a previous version, it won't be accessible. So this is always good when you are sending your file to somebody else. But if you are working within your own system, it is advisable to always keep it in the latest version here, which is Excel workbook here. There are other file types you can save, but our concern is not, we will not look at that site for today. So PDF here, you can always save as PDF if you are done with your work. So right now I'm going to hit save here. Now this window is called a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet contains horizontal lines running from left to right and vertical lines running from top to bottom. Now, if you look at this, the vertical lines that run from top to bottom are called columns. So this is a column, 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 and so on and so forth. The horizontal line that runs from left to right are called lines that run from left to right are called rows. This is a row, this is a row, this is a row, and this is a row, and so on and so forth. Now, each column has a specific name assigned to it. Each row has a specific name attached to it or assigned to it. So alphabets are used to name columns, while numbers are used to name rows. So this is column A, this is column B, this is column C, this is column D, this is column E, this is column F, G, and so on and so forth. Now we go over to the row. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Let me just create a label here or highlight this so that you see it very clearly. Let me pick row 10 also and make some, use change the color. Okay. So if you look at it now, this is a vertical line known as column, and this is a horizontal line known as row. Now, the point, this point where a row and a column meet is called a cell. Let me put it blue so that you can see it. A cell is an intersection of a row and a column. So while we have horizontal and vertical lines, they also have their points, the points where they all meet. So this is a cell. Each of these boxes is a cell. So if I'm working on this cell, it is called an active cell. I hope that's very, very clear, because as we get along, if you don't know these basics, you will always find it difficult to work with Microsoft Excel. I hope that's understood. In case you are still finding it difficult to know the name of this cell, you can look at this here. It's called the name box. The name box tells you the name of each cell. Now, if you look at this here, you have sheet 1 here. A page in Microsoft Word is called sheet, just like you in Microsoft Word, you say page, you call it pages, but in Microsoft Excel, we call it sheet. So this is sheet 1. By default, this is sheet 1. You can create as many sheets as possible using this plus sign. It will name it sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and so on and so forth. But you can also rename this. Rename it, let's say practice 1. You can rename this also practice 2. You can also rename this practice 3. We can also change the color to make it unique. This is orange. I'll use blue here. I think that's blue. And then I'll use red here. Change the tab colors to red so we can see it. I hope that's understood. This is a sheet. Now, if I'm working on this sheet, the first one, which is called practice 1, is called a worksheet. A sheet in which you are working on is called a worksheet. Now, when you save your work, it is called a workbook. A file, a Microsoft file is called what? A workbook. I hope that's understood. That's the basics for this area. And here we have the formula bar. The formula bar always shows you the formulas, the calculation that you've made. Usually, the output of every formula will show here, but the main formula will show here. So you have to take that into consideration. Right here, we have so many tabs. We have home tab. The home tab is just like your parlor, where you have the basic things that you need. You have their fonts, which we learned from Microsoft Word, alignment, number, and so on and so forth. Your insert tab has other things that you might need, and each of these tabs group elements that have similar function. We have the page layout tab, we have the formulas tab, we have the data tab, review tab, view tab, help tab. So as we get along in the lessons, we will be moving from one tab to the other. Now, if you look at these horizontal lines and vertical lines, you will think that when you print out your work, they'll all appear. No. The purpose of these horizontal lines and vertical lines called rows and columns is to help you work efficiently, to help you manage your work efficiently. So this makes it a user-friendly space or interface. So let's look at this. If you click on print and preview, you will see here that there are no lines here. There are no grid lines. So if you are working on a table, you can highlight the number of cells that you want to make a table and come to this point here, click all borders. When you click on all borders, let's view it. You can see that the table is inserted and the grid lines are inserted. If you look here, there are dotted lines here. This is the margin of this page from the right hand side. If I've typed to the downside, I'll also see a margin below that shows the end of that page. All right. There's another method of making your grid line appear. You can just come to your view, under view. Yes, under view. Under view, grid lines. No, not here. It's supposed to be here somewhere. Let me check on that page layout. No, it should be on that page. All right, it's on that page layout. Yes. On that page layout, you see your grid lines. If you want your grid lines to appear, you can just click them. Now let's go here and see what we've done. You can see that the grid lines for what we've done appears here. So you can either use this one. Under grid lines, you put print. And if you want your headings to always show, you can click here and let's look at how it looks like here. You can see it shows A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3 to 10. But usually, I don't usually like using this. I prefer using the borders. So let's turn it off. So that's that for now. And it is very important that you know this simple thing I've taught you here, to know how to name a cell, because everything you're going to do is going to be basically on knowing a particular cell and assigning a formula to it. That's it for today. See you in another video.